When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest Podcast.
So, Forest are back. Well, that might be overstating it a bit, but this was a 2-0 victory over FC Porto, who are unbeaten this season up till last night, and the game had many of the qualities we've been missing over the last couple of months. Defensive organisation, grit, fight and a desire to win the ball back. So this is the 1865 match report. I'm Baz and I'm joined by Tom Newton. So Tom, how was it for you last night?
Enjoyable. It's nice to win a game of football, isn't it? Because it seems a long time since we've won a game of football. It was nice to actually defend properly, and it was nice to see a full stadium at the full-time whistle rather than just like where I sit in Bridgeford End in the last few games. All you can see at the other end is the Trent End at Lettering in the upper tier. So it's nice to see a full stadium at the full-time whistle. So yeah, it was a building block for us because of obviously everything what's happened in the last few weeks and everything. So yeah, it was a real mark in the sand. Just getting back to basics, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I said at the end, I was like, I'd forgotten what status quo sounds like. And then the fireworks started going off from Eva's Grill, and I was like, oh, I've forgotten about them as well. It just feels like it's been such a long time.
Yeah. Do fireworks have sell-by dates? Or use-by dates, I should say, yeah.
So we'll start with the lineup. Sean Dyche, obviously it was his first game in charge. He made 3 changes to Angie's back 5, and we reverted to what on paper apparently was, according to Radio Nottingham, the official team sheet said it was a 4-3-3. I'd have said it was more a 4-2-3-1. Chris Wood's carrying a knock, and Morato and Sangare dropped to the oversized bench, and they were replaced by Igor Jesus and 2 wingers, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Dan Ndoye. So that made us line up with Sells in goal, a back 4 of Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo and Zinchenko, and Douglas Luiz and Elliot Anderson behind Dan Ndoye, Morgan Gibbs-White and Callum Hudson-Odoi, with Igor Jesus up front. And yeah, so the first half started pretty frantically, really. We started with a shot from Elliot Anderson that went over, and Forest basically played on the front foot. This was not Nuno ball. It wasn't a low block. We were playing high up the pitch. We're moving the ball about quickly. In fact, there was a point in the first half I was like, this is like a cross between Nuno and Ange Ball, because we were moving the ball around really fast. But we had that sort of defensive resolve and defensive grit as well. About 10 minutes in, Porto tried to take a bit of a hold in the game, and you could just see our players drop back into shape and put in a real shift to try and win the ball back. But Callum looked like he was having a party. He kept on getting loads of space on the left, running directly at the defence, and he got 2 shots away. I think one was right-footed, one was left-footed. And then the pivotal moment on around 17 minutes, a corner goes into the box. Jesus and Jan Bednarek, off formerly of Southampton, tussle for it. It hits Bednarek's arm, then Jesus' arm. It was a clear handball, but as we'll discuss in a bit, I had my doubts about whether it was going to get given. The referee, however, points to the spot immediately. Morgan Gibbs-White steps up, pushes it into the bottom corner. And then for the rest of the first half, I think we barely saw the ball at all. Defensively, we sort of dropped into a 4-4-2 kind of shape with Morgan pushing up alongside Jesus, but we didn't really sit deep. We pressed them high up the pitch and made things very, very difficult. But until there was a breakaway on our left, resulting in a shot from Rosario, but they didn't really get anywhere near our box apart from that. And that shot happened mainly because Zinchenko ended up pulling up injured straight after, and he was replaced by Savona. But that was about it for the first half. In the second half, they win a corner, and after a bit of a scramble, the ball ends up going into our net. And I remember thinking, well, a clean sheet's a bit too much to hope for, but I was confident we'd be able to score another. But as the players troop back to the centre circle, the game's paused. VAR has a look at it and gives us an offside in our favour. Game restarts, they make a triple substitution. I'm thinking last time we had a triple substitution, we ended up losing. But this time we carried on playing really, really high up the pitch. And Sells, however, did have to make a pretty decent save from a long-range effort by Fernandez. Then Savona goes down in the box. The ref books him for diving. It was the far end of the pitch for me, so I didn't really see it, but I thought, oh, God, not this again. But then VAR intervenes once more, ref goes to the screen and gives a penalty. This time, Jesus steps up and places it right in the centre of the goal, and from that moment on, Porto didn't really have a hope. Forest just completely controlled the game, and Porto, we were never really threatened, and they didn't really come anywhere near it.
The 1865 Match Report.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest Podcast.
So, Tom, that's pretty satisfying all round, really, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's a long time since we won a game of football. Obviously, the first game of the season against Brentford. And Sean Dyche is coming. He's had 3 days with him with Ian Wone, Steve Stone, Tony Loughlin and Billy Mercer kind of thing. And just going back to basics, it's just like the fundamentals of football, isn't it? And defending as a team and everything. You're asking players to do what they're good at and not telling them to do something what they can't do. Ultimately, what happened with the last manager. And it's so refreshing, isn't it? I mean, just defending as a team, it's just like an organised display, workmanlike. And then I didn't think Forest was spectacular, but it just sheds the golfing class from the Portuguese league. No disrespect to Porto, because they've had a decent start to the season domestically and on the European stage, but they didn't really lay glove on them, on us, did they? I know they scored that disallowed goal, etc., but Sales hasn't had a lot to do, and I just think the clean sheet's massive. It's the first one in 20 games since the Man U game, where we beat them 1-0 last season when Alanga scored. So it just puts confidence in the side. You got a clean sheet. The defence looked the most solid it's been since the opening game of the season, let's say. And it's a real building block. A lot of people have said it in the last few days. Well, last night after the win, our season starts now. Because you're just getting players to play to their strengths and everything. And it's a really good result for Sean Dyche, because obviously he just wanted to get that first win on the board as quickly as possible, and it's coming in his first game, which is the first manager to do at home on his opening game since Philip Montagnier in 2016, I think it was, against Burton Albion. So it's a long time. I know we've had obviously away games from certain managers for the first game of the season, etc., but it's been a long time. So it's a really good result for everybody connected with the club.
I think as well. I mean, there was a little part of me that was hoping it would be a 2-1. As I said, I think hoping for a clean sheet today, last night rather, I was thinking that's probably a bit too much to ask for, given he's only had 2 or 3 days. But actually, what was important as well was getting the win, because we didn't want the rest of the Europa League pack to sort of start slipping away from us. And not only did it give us confidence, but it also keeps us in that race as well, which, I mean, that's the idea, is we want to be in as many competitions as possible.
Definitely. And some fans were like saying on like social media and things like that, saying, "No, it's 2 goals. We haven't scored in open play." And it's like, let's not ask for too much too soon, kind of thing. We've won a game of football and kept a clean sheet in the 3 days what Sean Dyche has had. I think that's massive, and it will come. Like I said, it's a building block, etc. And like you say, you don't want the rest of the pack in the Europa League to slip away, because let's be honest, there's some not great sides in there, and we're in that lower end at the moment in terms, because the results haven't gone our way because of the Michelin defeat and the Real Betis. I know it was only a draw, but that at the time we thought it was a good result, but that's been compounded by the Michelin disaster a few weeks ago. So then we're back to the Premier League on Sunday and against Bournemouth, kind of thing. But yeah, I think last night was massive for everybody, and it's like I said, it's a real building block. And Sells will put a bit of confidence back into his game, because he's been a bit shaky in recent weeks, hasn't he? And the Murillo and Milenkovic look back to their best last night, because they were just asked to defend the 18-yard box, which they did magnificently. And there was that doubt in the back of probably a lot of Forest fans' minds last night, a bit of fragility in terms of we haven't kept a clean sheet and this, that and the other. Porto, they didn't really bother us. And I think that's goes down to just the work what Sean Dyche and the staff have put in the last 3 days, of just giving that players that belief and confidence that you can defend properly. And it was a really good result last night for us.
Yeah, I'd say I thought for their disallowed goal, I thought Sells did flap at it a little bit, and he looked a bit like he has been this season. But I think after it was disallowed, and the fact that Murillo and Milenkovic looked back to their imperious best, I think you could see him kind of actually go, I'm all right here. I've got these in front of me.
Yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, one game doesn't make a season and all that type of thing. But yeah, I just think it's, like I said, it's a building block. We will get better because obviously more time Sean and staff have with the players, and they're going to get more information of how he wants. And no disrespect to like Burnley, Everton, Watford in the past, but this is probably the best squad he's ever had.
Yeah.
In terms of attacking. So if he hones that talent, it's going to be good for us, because obviously, I mean, Backward didn't play last night, and he's a talent. We haven't seen much of him, but you've seen when he was at Strasbourg that he's a talent. Hutchinson, I know he can't play in the Europa League because obviously he wasn't named in the squad, but he's a talent who he's still young and you can work with him, kind of thing. So, and then you've got obviously Gibbs-White, who when he's on form, we know what he's about. Anderson, Douglas Luiz, etc. So yeah, he's got a lot to work with, and I'm excited to see how he brings it all together in the next coming weeks and months.
Yeah, I'll come back to the attacking bit in a minute. I just want to talk a bit about the defending, because, I mean, we looked solid in a way that we literally haven't, apart from that Brentford game. And I think the key difference, what was really different, was the back four played as a back four. I mean, I noticed Nico wasn't really doing any overlaps, and Zinchenko wasn't playing as number 10. It was a back four. They stuck to their roles. They did the simple stuff, and then I thought Douglas Luiz was absolutely incredible at doing the unseen stuff. He kept on dropping back, sort of shielding in front of the back four, and there was bits where he was getting getting a little bit testy with the Porto players and like shoving them away and stuff like that, giving us a bit of physicality, which I really like to see. I thought he had an outstanding game last night.
Yeah, he's been when we have seen him, both have played well. and then when he hasn't, and obviously we've had a massive drop off. I mean, Anderson has played really well this season. Obviously, he's a regular for England at the moment, and hopefully that will continue for the rest of the season for the World Cup. But Douglas Luiz was just mustard last night, wasn't he? And it was like with the midfield, how he played it. It was like somebody was going to like miss out. And I thought Sangari's played all right in recent games. I thought he was one of our better players in the last game against Chelsea, and unfortunately he missed out, kind of thing. But Anderson's, he's been brilliant this season, and Douglas Luiz, like you just said, he was on another planet last night in terms of ability. He was just head and shoulders above everybody else, and Porto couldn't really get near him. And if we can keep him fit, we have got one hell of a player there. So it's just a gift, because obviously he's had 45 minutes. I know he played. Did he play 90 last night, or did he just come off?
He played about 75. Yates came on for him.
So that's the most he's achieved since he's been at the club, hasn't it? I think so. It's like fitness in the legs and everything, and if we can keep him fit, him and Henderson and whoever plays with him, if he obviously goes through in midfield, etc. It's just he's got a lot of quality there, hasn't he? So and he's, like I said, it's another building block to work on.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting what Dyche said about Anderson. He said he's a very good player, but he's got a lot of the nuts and bolts still to learn. So I think maybe he thinks he runs about too much. I'm not really sure what that kind of entailed.
It just shows you how. I mean, they've got Alan Varela, and I've seen him before, and he always looks like a very tidy midfielder, but he couldn't get near him last night, and that goes to show you how. I know we've been struggling in the Premier League, etc., but it just shows you the gulf in class from the Premier League. And no disrespect to Porto, I mean, I know they've had the glories in the previous years and everything, but it seems a bit of a stepping stone club. You like come from South America, whatever, and you play there, then obviously go to one of the big guns, kind of thing. So, but I thought they were very ordinary last night. I just thought we kept them at arm's length, and it was a really good defensive, organised display from us.
Yeah, I think actually, so I thought they defended very, very well. And to be fair, I think we played really well defensively, and I want to talk about the wingers in a sec. But I thought they defended very, very well. And actually, I don't think we really got many shots, not even shots off target, let alone shots on target.
Yeah, I think we had there was obviously the Anderson one, what went over the bar, and then the Hudson-Odoi chance. And like you say, but I'm not reading too much into that, because it's going to take time. I think Sean Dyche says, first and foremost, you've got to have a solid base defensively, then you can work upon that. So within 3 days, he's obviously achieved something what we haven't for a long time in terms of a clean sheet. He's achieved that. That will put confidence in the back for the goalkeeper. Then he can move on to other areas of the pitch, kind of thing. And obviously, it's just knitting it all together. So, like I said, some fans were saying, "Oh, we didn't score in open play and everything." I'm not really bothered. But at the end of the day, the most important thing last night was winning a game of football and keeping a clean sheet and looking more resolute defensively. We did all of that. So the other bits will come in time. Just like a certain manager says, Rome wasn't built in a day.
I mean, just on that as well, I just wanted to add, like, Jesus up front, he didn't really do much attacking wise, but his work rate stopping them playing was outstanding. And the same with Dan and Doy. I thought that there was a point I was like, I've not really noticed him, and then suddenly he just did like a whole series, like 3 tackles in a row to win the ball back. And I was like, actually, he's not going forward. But then the other thing I just wanted to mention, and I think this is probably the biggest impact that Sean Dyche has had since he's come in the short time. So I watched the press conference before the game, and I said in our group chat, it's like, I don't think I've ever seen Yates look as happy as he did during that press conference. And then watching the game, Callum Hudson-Odoi, he looked unshackled. He looked like he was having a party. He just kept on finding space and running at them, and I've not seen him play like that this season. I can remember on Radio Nottingham they said if you watch him in pre-season, he looks like a different player. He looks so confident, and then we didn't see any of that. And then last night I was like, oh, that's what they're on about then.
Yeah, and I just think it's like the players know what they're good at, and last season had that success of what they were good at, and then Ange coming in, it was kind of like an absolute sea change of what he wanted and getting players to do what things they're not familiar with. And Sean and Dyche and his staff have gone in there and just like concentrated on what they're good at, and they did that last night. And like he says, last night wasn't the full package by any stretch, but he was asking certain players to do certain things, what they're good at, and hence why we got a result and clean sheet, a win, and things what have been distinctively lacking in the first few months of this season. And another thing with Sean Dyche is coming in and said all the right things, and you can just see that he actually cares for the club, and it goes back to the collective we, the badge. We all know Ange never did any of that, so he never endeared himself. So obviously he's got people like off the seats, like thinking, look, it's a collective again, and obviously everybody comes to the common good and everything. So last night, it's really big building block for our season, and we just need to build upon this now, and obviously get some results on the board, because obviously we're cut adrift at the moment by a few points, aren't we, at the bottom of the Premier League? So again, Sunday's another massive game for us.
Yeah, I mean, just on the collective thing, I just want to say as well, I think obviously it was a European night. The last one wasn't great at the City Ground, but this was what I wanted off a European night. I wasn't in my normal seat. I was standing in the Bridgeford Lower, and the singing didn't stop. It was absolutely fantastic, and especially that we all live in a world of Ryan Yates when that came out. and that was exactly what I wanted from a football match. It was perfect.
I won't talk on too much about the Michelin game, but we got outsung by 150 Lego. I love it. And the game was just an absolute disaster. And Porto, they were loud. And this is what we want from European nights. The opponents bring a decent number. They obviously walk from Notts County's ground, because they were obviously congregated in the Nest, and they walked over at 6 o'clock, flares and everything. They're chanting, and you think this is what you want from a European night. And it didn't happen it was a massive anticlimax, wasn't it, with the Michelin game? But this was like, yes, this is what we all wanted. And the fans were brilliant last night. Mullikintyre was decent chance, obviously, about Stoney and Woney and Dyche and everything, and we've missed this. And it's just that the City Ground was a nice place to be last night.
It was indeed. But Dyche's next test is Bournemouth away, one of those places we so often struggle. So Stephen Topless and the Maradona of the Midlands will be bringing you that report at the weekend. In the meantime, this has been the 1865 Match Report. I've been Baz, and I'd like to say thank you to Tom and thank you to you for listening. Europe again, ole ole.
You've been listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest Podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps other listeners find our content.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.